Hi, Corey Thorne, a spiritual teacher, emotional and spiritual consultant, here for all those emotional and spiritual dilemmas that you have happening in your life. So welcome. I am doing my channeled message for the week of October the 20th. This is being recorded on the full moon in Aries, and it is like 9:30 at night, or quarter after 9 at night when I'm recording this. And so I've been recording all day and building up content and more information. But I was just shutting down the computer and I knew this was the time to get this message out. So I hope it resonates with you. Please always remember that these are general. These are not resonating with everybody. It is the forecast energy. It is what I am being given through my channel, through channeling through that guardian energy, through channeling through the divine, that I get to kind of experience the energy and for it to translate as it comes through me into what it truly is representing. So I walked earlier and I record my walk with me videos, and today's was a very difficult one to record. It was very windy, very cold. It only turned out to be a short one, but I started recording and then I had this eerie sense as if I could feel, and it's the first time I ever felt this energy around me when I was out walking, especially here where I live. It's like, it is so beautiful here. But I just had this sense of feeling unsafe. And I could feel like this negative energy walked through. And before I left the house, I was writing up about my upcoming course in my mystical realm that I'm doing, that I'm teaching. And I never know what they're going to be, but it was the winged ones. And so the winged ones truly was about what's coming up is, humans turn, human behavior sometimes turns good ones bad. And I just had this sense of this negative energy just being heavy, as if I felt like that creepy kind of energy. And what came to me was, that ugliness that's inside of us, the capability of when somebody pokes the bear in us, when somebody, awakens the monster, the yin and yang of us, the light, the dark, the negative energy, that sense of being provoked, and I don't mean by one person, I mean in whole life, like almost as if had experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of like mistreatment, and not being able to be treated as a child, and a healthy child, or raised as a healthy child, and then turning into something they're not. And that was kind of what it felt like to me. And I felt like I was on guard, but it felt old. It felt like it was old energy. And I'm like, there's an anger in the air. It feels like there is something that is just it keeps trying to kind of like break through into our world. So break through into our human world. And it feels like it's almost like trying to come in through our atmosphere, or trying to come into, almost trying to grab onto the light, or trying to grab onto that light worker energy. And I'm like, yeah, no, but that's what it feels like. And it's like, and I don't know exactly how to put this, but the card that came out was and I only pulled 3 cards for this. And I had the Hermit, the King of Wands, and I had the Tower. And I pulled out my Tarot, and I don't always use my Tarot cards when I'm doing forecast readings, but I always say Tarot is the kick-ass truth reality. There's no fluffing up Tarot. You can't pretty up what it is. Like, it just can't. It's raw, it's vulnerable, it is hardcore kind of truth energy. And so with that comes in those 2 major arcanas, and it's one in the past and one in the future. So major life-changing events. And the King of Wands for me in the fire energy is representing that strong masculine, that warrior hunter energy that we have, that kind of move forward. Now I'm an Aries, and I know we get kind of often like we are misrepresented by the fact that the sometimes the intimidation factor, or the fact that big personality and almost like unsympathetic and caring, but problem is we almost care too much. We care too much sometimes. But that King of Wands is coming in. What gets my attention and what's pulling my attention is not the king itself. It's not the king sitting on the throne. It's not the staff with the new little sprigs coming out. It's the little gecko or lizard that's down there. And what brings it up to me, what brings my attention to that little gecko down there is in the direction the king is looking, is the small stuff, is for us not to ignore the small things. So what we're being told this week is not to ignore the signs, not to ignore the small details, not to ignore the little things that we say, that's not a big deal. It won't get in the way. It will not affect anything. Oh no, they don't mean anything by that. Oh no, no, you have to pay attention to the small things. And it just feels like it's like, snake shits its skin. It just feels like what it's telling me and what they're giving me is that you can be on the best healing journey. You could be doing so well. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, something comes in. And that's what it feels like. It feels like the whole world feels like we're just waiting to kind of reopen, start again. And I just feel like something else is a curveball. And so we have that Hermit energy that is kind of standing. I say this Hermit looks like to me, it's like standing on, I'm from Newfoundland. And when you're by the ocean in the winter time, or when the wind comes in and it breaks open the ice in the spring, like as the ice starts to break, we have these ice pans. And it's like, well, and a lake too, it's like these ice pans out in the water. And people, when we were kids, used to try to jump on them, and you try to stand in the middle and not fall over. And it's like, and if it teeter totters, the last thing you want to do is fall into the water. It's icy cold. And that's what it feels like to me, is like kind of like the Hermit to me, what it's representing is that ascendant master. It is beyond the veil. It is it is just like kind of that God conscious energy. Moses is what's coming up. Moses is what's coming up to me. It just feels like that energy of the hierarchy of the ascendant masters looking down at us and shining a light up on us, just saying and knowing, we got to let them do their thing. So it does feel like the spiritual guides, the spiritual guidance, the guidance is here. We have to ask. So if not feeling like we can do it alone, or feeling like there's a sense that there's just like, we have to look beyond our normal places that we look for that guidance, for that sense of knowing right now. That sometimes you just can't always seem to trust yourself. And so the Hermit is like, sometimes you have to go it alone, you have to do it alone, and you have to do the hard things alone. And it feels like that sometimes. And it is a truth right now. And being an Aries, I can tell you, I do most things in my life alone. I do a lot of traveling, and even though I have a partner, but I have that, I'm a bit of that loner kind of energy. But the Hermit also is holding that lantern, that light. And if you can look into it, is not just a beam of light. And that's what you have to look really close. A light is not, not every light is a real light. Not every light is a true light. Not everyone is living in truth. And then we have the imposter light, which comes in as Jezebel energy. And that is what can fool us or trick us into kind of stepping into a false reality or a false truth. And we're being told to really pay attention to those things in our lives right now. Be aware of where fear is stepping in the way, or you're just accepting a solution, an answer just to have, you're accepting something just to have that resolution. Like, I just want things done. I just want to move forward. I just want to get going. And so in the meantime, you're missing the details, and we're being told to not to get so distracted, to really truly be careful and aware of where you are putting your trust, and knowing that the deepest seated trust is what we have by channeling in and asking our inner authority, our authority over self, and to also know the power of connecting to that that higher authority, that God consciousness. And with that comes up, for me, I'm really picking up that sense of and it comes up with my winged ones as well from my mystical realm, is that of the, looking at the purity of us, of when we lost our sense of purity, when we lose that connection to us. And it's like, so when you discover that everything that you have been told is not really a truth. And it's like when you're a kid and you find out certain things are no longer a truth, and the disappointment, sadness, and then you're told, but just pretend that it is real, and then just act it out for us every single year. And if you act it out for us every single year, then hurrah, you keep us happy, because then it makes us feel like, so just pretend Santa Claus is coming, right? And act it out every year to keep the grown-ups happy, as if they are still doing something good. Just pretend for us. And that's what I'm getting, is like, we just can't pretend. And and because it's taken away the integrity of who we are and what we are as a human race. And we've been playing with this mental mentality for so freaking long, and we're being told that's like, we're breaking down and breaking away that old paradigm, that old way of thinking, that it's like, I have to accept the lie, and I have to accept that as a truth, and I have to pass that on for generations. And that's, I don't have to do that no more. And why do I have to do that no more? And why are we need to emotionally and spiritually mature beyond that. And so we're being told to really notice how many places in our lives that we are so patterned and programmed to those old ways of being. And this star that's in here, of course, then also ties to the power of the essence of our, I'm going to say, it brings me into my Merkaba energy. It brings me into that collapse of, that the upper and the lower triangle that comes in. And so that awakening. So I feel like it's like what traps us and holds us from being able to go through that full awakening, to come into ourselves, is the fact that we are conditioned to accept those lies, and we're afraid to break away from the old paradigms. We're afraid to take that leap of faith, to jump in. And it is that little lizard energy, it's the little tiny things, it's the little white lies that keep us from being able to find that truth. And then the third card that comes out is that tower energy. It's like the collapse of the old. And when you look at this and you see all the weather that is happening in there, you see the lightning strike, but the lightning strike also has an arrow. It is like a tower moment is coming with purpose. It is coming on purpose. It is coming in to, like, it knows exactly what it is doing. It knows exactly what the plan is and what it's taking out. It's laser focused here somehow. And I just feel like the only way that it's almost like you had all the warnings, and the top that's coming off almost looks like the crown, right? That crowning moment. So the fall from grace. And so when we know something to not be true, but we don't want to see it, when we live blind and we intentionally are blind, we don't want to see it. We don't want to see things, and we want to ignore them and neglect them because we just want things to be our way, or we want to stay in unhealthy relationships, or we want to stay telling the lies, right? We want to stay in that. And that what we're being told is that, we fall from, this is the fall from grace. So there is a fall from grace. There is a collapse. There is some kind of breakdown moments that are present. And so never fear that tower is absolute destruction. it's endings, right? It takes us to a place of letting a story die or letting things come to an end so that we can start to move forward. And we're being told that that's kind of where we are right now, is that we are at that place of moving forward. And then I have the Six of Pentacles coming out with that, and it's in reverse. So it's like that balance of giving and receiving, but who do we give to? And it's like take from one to give to the, like take from the rich to give to the poor is not going to really, that's not really the solving. That doesn't solve anything, because no matter what is they say, if you take all from one and you give it to the other, then if you're not properly, if you don't know your worth and value, if you don't have the tools, the wisdom and knowledge of how to hold on to, how to make it grow, if you become tight and you hide it away, it's never going to grow. And it's like, it is the flow. And so it is that shift and change in that story that we've told ourselves for so long about how we create the balance in our world. And so balance comes in dignity, in respect, and in the sense of awareness to to our role that we play, into that sense of we are not here to, it's not about being entitled. It's about knowing that we are all worthy, and that unlimited source of wisdom and knowledge that is there for us means that we have to move beyond our old stories. We have to stop telling ourselves the negative stories, or stop playing into our own victim stories or our limited beliefs, and start to look at our lives in a different way. And that's very important in these coming weeks to come. Aries is that kick-ass energy. And so the Ace of Wands is like, and so then we have the Ace of Wands. We have a lot of that fire energy that's here for us right now. And also the Tower is bringing in, it's like that explosion. It's like a revealing of secrets. It's like, it just lights everything up. It's like that you just have this, you just have this lightning bolt moment of, oh my God, like, holy shit. Like, and we want to take credit for those experiences, but they're not, because that's when we're above our thoughts, because we get so caught up in our story, we get so caught up in what's going on. And then all of a sudden you have that eureka moment. You just like, holy crap, you get it. Well, that's not really you. That's you're getting that smack in the head that just says, are you going to get it now? Do you get it now? And that's the energy that's coming through. And when you look at the warrior energy, and that being able, knowing that they can, step up in the courage and the strength and just be powerful, and that warrior energy is not that they're there to go to war. They're there to stop the war. They're there to actually be able to bring peace. And I always say, that's what I've always been. I'm always that peacekeeper. I'm the person who steps in between and just says, hey, stop it. Like, I'm always trying to keep the peace. And that feels like what it's about, is that, it's sometimes we can't, to come to a place of inner peace. We can't keep kind of stepping in between, afraid of what could happen, and not letting anything fully unfold, and keep that peace. Because if you're always trying to keep the peace and you don't let things fall away that needs to fall away, you'll never be at peace. And it's time for us to truly come into a deeper connection and awareness of what it means to live at peace. Be at peace for where we have been, what we have been through. Stop rehashing it. Stop bringing it back. Stop reliving it. Where we have been, we've all made mistakes. We're imperfectly perfect. We're all, rooted in our stories. We're all rooted by our, in our ancestor stories. Things have happened where fighting over it is never going to fix it. And in creating that balance and that awareness is a greater understanding and appreciation for humanity in general. Like, overall, that if we stop being so judgmental and creating stories, if we stop letting the world stop defining people and turning people into monsters that are not really monsters, but pushing the narrative enough that they can create those monsters, and realizing that there is real monsters out there. There is real people out there that are terrorizing our humanity, and that sense of, and we're not here to be apologetic to those people. We're here to finally stop that energy and stop creating false ones, and getting to truth, and getting to coming into that. Let's clear away all those little markers, or all those little kind of filters we're putting over the stories to pretty up the ugly, and let it be exposed, let our truth come out. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which is also in reverse, because everything that we're keeping over here and we're not letting go is keeping us from being able to see the magic, to just let that magic flow and let that love and light flow. And so that moon is really about shining a light upon the things that we need to let go of, that we need to start releasing, and to know that in this times is what it shines the light up is not to shame, to blame, to guilt. Is to say, let's do this from a level of maturity. What has been fermenting long enough, what has been maturing, evolving, growing long enough, that now we can finally say, okay, let's do this. And know that we don't have to accept someone else's truth as our truth, and it's all half-assed truth. And there's, and so there is we're getting new energy, new truth. And there's a gray, like you just see a lot of gray in this picture, and that's the gray areas. And I always say, when I see spirit passing, when I'm working with people and I see the spirit, like actually when I see the soul leave the body, it actually looks like gray paper cutout dolls. It's flat, it is gray, and it's like a trail of like energy. It's like gray paper cutout dolls, and I can see it leaving. I've seen them walking around, I see it everywhere. And then I also see that white light figurine energy as well. And and so what we're being told is that that's that gray area of life, of where we kind of say, oh, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want to go there. That is, that is where truth sits. So when I teach about color in my More Than Existing, my level 4, or in the Diamond Effects, I teach about color, the color wheel, and I teach about painting walls, because I am a colorist. I'm a professional hair colorist, master hair colorist, actually. And so what I would do is, and as a painter, as my dad was a painter, he always said, take your swatch from the gray swatches, never from the colors, because it'll never, if you want your truest of truest color, pick it from the gray swatches in the paint, because it'll always be its truth. No matter the spectrum of the sun, of the rays from the sun, no matter what, it will always look like its truest color. And when you don't, then when you pick one that you just see, it's like, oh, I like pink, and you don't look at the base that's behind it, you don't look at the undertones, it's not a true color, right? So if it's picked from the gray swatch, you will always get your truest of color. It'll be true to swatch. It'll be true to swatch in the paint colors. And when you take it home and you put it on the wall, it will be true to swatch, especially if it is being placed on a wall that is only primed, or that it has a white base, right? So it's pure. So there's that purity. And that's what we're being told right now, is to know that we, if we want truth, we got to go back to purity. We got to go back to just letting go of all, and just going back to that basic sense of who we are. And over to the side, I just feel the door opening. And as I'm here in my live, I got this door, or in this video, I got a door open. I can feel the cold air, can feel this. And I'm like, almost like I'm going to walk into something. I'm going to walk in that new direction. So that Ace of Wands is really showing me that there's, here over here, there's the peak, there's the water, there's something on the other side. What's beyond the horizon? And then we see this pinky color all the way on the other side. And so we know there's something for us. We know there's something beautiful. We know there's that beautiful life. And we know that is coming. And we're moving towards that. We are. And just know that it's, it's like we have to go through this and that to get to where we need to go. And, but we got to be willing. We have to be willing to truly question some of the things, and to look into that light, and to not be, it's hard not to be fooled by an imposter light. It really is. and you see it everywhere, you see it all over the place, and to question even that, question your social media, question your news, question those things. And it's about getting back to trusting that truest of voice. Have a beautiful week, and full moon blessings, and sending you all beautiful healing energy. I did do a full moon healing circle last night with a group of women. I do offer those out on a regular basis. I have many courses. I have some new courses coming up if you want to take part in those. And I've also launched some new videos that talks about some of my upcoming courses and classes. So they're also in this YouTube channel as well. So please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like my videos, if you want more, if you want me to keep doing more, please subscribe to my YouTube, and then hit the notification button so that you can get all of your updates, so that you can get first, a heads up of anything new that is just released, and get to listen to it right away. And there's lots of playlists of pre-recorded things that is also here for you as well. And go to CoreyThorne.com, and you can book your personal session with me, or you can purchase my book, which is called More Than Existing, and that's on Amazon.ca.com, Balboa Press, and also with Barnes and Noble. Much, much love. Have a beautiful evening or beautiful week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.